Hi guys, welcome to Spirit Mail. I'm Cheryl and this is Daily Mail episode 38. So tonight we're going to talk about fear and how to erase fear. Now remember, I am not a psychologist or an expert or a guru of any kind, but I have erased some fear in my life, so I'm going to tell you how I erased my fear. Different fears at different times, right? Because we go through different phases in our life where different fears creep up. One of the main things that I learned, we might ought to have, one of the main things that I learned is that the universe does not revolve around me. Now, if you listen to Abraham Hicks, she'll say, absolutely, your universe does revolve around you. And that's true. But my mom used to tell me when I was younger, the universe doesn't revolve around you. And what she meant was that all these other people that you're worried about, they're not even worried about you. You know, we make up things in our head and we think that we're in a fishbowl and the whole world's looking at us, and it stops us dead in our tracks. And we don't ever take a step forward because we're worried about what all these people outside of this fishbowl are going to think about us. So we are the center of our own universe, but we're not the center of the universe. So that's one thing to grasp right away, is that most of our fear is made up in our mind. You know, they say there's that acronym, fear is false evidence appearing real. But fear is actually they say there's only two emotions, love and fear. And where love exists, fear cannot exist. So the another way to erase fear from your life is to find self-love and self-acceptance. And that's a hard thing to do. And I tell people, for years, I truly thought that I loved myself. I was confident in my ability to do a lot of things, but when it really came down to loving myself, I didn't realize until late 2015, early 2016, that I really didn't even love myself. I loved what my abilities allowed me to do for other people. I loved that I was able to provide for my family. I loved that I was able to help other people and all that other stuff, but that's where I found my value. I didn't have any value in just being me, just being. I didn't even know who me was. So another way to erase fear is to go within and love yourself to the point that fear cannot exist inside of you. You know, take this channel for example. I have no certification as a tarot reader. I don't even know if I read tarot or if I just read the pictures on the cards that God throws out in front of me to tell you a story. I know I can look at pictures and find a story in it, and I know that God puts the right pictures out. Is that what tarot is? You know, I don't know, but if I allow myself to think about it too deeply and to worry about it too deeply, it would cause fear. And I would never have gotten on this channel to read tarot. And I love what I do. And I love that God uses these cards to speak to you guys in a way that that fills you up and that gives you the messages that you need to hear at the right time. I love that. But I could have allowed fear to stop me because I didn't know tarot. I'm not a traditional tarot reader by any means. I'm an intuitive tarot reader. So the other way to erase fear is to love yourself enough and accept yourself enough and your way of doing whatever it is you're going to do. You know, whenever I sold cars, whenever I sold houses, anything that I did, that there was always a training class, and they taught us different ways to do things. And I wasn't necessarily, I tweaked it. I didn't do it necessarily their way. And I was always very successful at what I did. Whenever I had my jewelry store, I think I told you this story once before. whenever I would run my ads. I didn't run ads like everybody else ran ads in the paper. They would run ads with pieces of jewelry and markdowns and sale prices and whatever. And I never even put a price and rarely even a piece of jewelry in my ads. But it was the way I wanted to do it. And I was confident in my way of doing it. So realize that the universe, first of all, does not revolve around you. And then realize that when you love yourself enough, when you truly love yourself, fear cannot live in there, because fear cannot live where love is. Be willing to laugh at yourself. Be willing to fall down and then get back up, because we all fall down. I remember we were at the table with the kids talking about they had just gotten new bikes for Christmas, and one of them had fallen down, and they were talking about, I can't remember how the story went, but it was a really cute story, and it was about one of them falling down, the other one helping them back up, and then saying something. And we laughed at what she said to him, and she took off running because she thought we were laughing because she did something wrong, and we were laughing because we thought it was adorable that she told him something, that he needed to believe in himself and get back up and get on that bicycle. And so it was. And the other thing is, everybody has insecurities. It's not just you. And everybody has a different strength than somebody else. I watch some tarot readers and I am just like blown away at the things that they pull from those cards. But that's their strength in that way. And I read differently than they do, and that's okay. And so when we compare ourselves, that's the other way to reduce fear. Stop comparing ourselves. Because when we compare ourselves to somebody else, it's like comparing an apple and an orange. Somebody made a comment about education. They said such a strict curriculum for all these kids in the classroom. You have some kids who are learners. They learn by hearing. Some kids learn by reading. Some kids learn by watching. Everybody learns differently. And even with PE, whenever we were younger, we had to take PE. Well, some of us just aren't athletic. So requiring me to run a 4-minute mile would be like requiring a fish to run a 4-minute mile, because my comfort level is not on the track running. And yeah, I could run, but don't make me run it in 4 minutes or you give me an F. Come on. You got to give me time, because I'm not a runner. So don't compare yourself to other people, because what that does is it compiles the fear on top of you. You're special. You're unique. You have your own way of doing things. You have your own unique expression to express. Let me tell you, and I'm telling you, there's nothing against anybody with a degree. I admire people who go to college and get degrees. It takes a lot of discipline to do that, and you have a lot of knowledge in your head. But for those of you who don't have a degree, that person that has a degree is not necessarily smarter than you. They're more skilled than you and more knowledgeable in that subject in whatever area their degree is in. That doesn't mean that they are more intelligent than you in some area of your life that you've had a lot of experience in. So when we compare ourselves, it's an unequal comparison. It's like comparing an apple and an orange. There's no way that you can say, oh, well, that person's better than me because they went to college. I used to think that. I used to think that other people were better than me because they went to college. And then I realized that there were some people that went to college that I made more money than they did, because I had the skill of being able to listen to customers tell me what they need and then help them find what it was that they were wanting. I was able to help them accomplish and achieve what it was they wanted to get. So, and thus, I'm not boasting. I'm just trying to help give you an example about we fear things and we let things intimidate us for no valid reason at all. It's kind of like the Nine of Swords. We're worrying about everybody outside the fishbowl who's looking at us. We're worrying about everybody who's further along in their life than we are. Everybody who spends an hour meditating and we only have 10 minutes to spend. And we compare ourselves with everything. And that's a really, really good way to attract fear into your life. And it will debilitate you. It will stop you from moving forward in your life. So be willing to go out and be who you are, and be willing to fall down and get back up, because you know what? When you get back up, all that says is that you have some grit. And let me tell you, that grit, that's a good thing, because it's going to eventually get you to where you want to go. Okay, so that's our message about how to get over fear, Cheryl's way of getting over fear, and it was pretty generalized, but I hope that has helped somebody out there. We're going to ask right now, God, guides, angels, archangels, and Holy Spirit, if there's something else I could add to this message or something I could have said better, please show us in the PS. As it relates to fear, we thank you for clear and concise messages. We thank you for love, light, and prosperity. And we thank you for clarification, confirmation, and validation. What is the PS that goes with this message, please? Fear will run you right into a tower. You know, I'm not even kidding you. Whenever we fear things and we don't get started, or we're doing something and then we allow fear to creep in, it will cause us to run right into a tower. Something will happen that will cause us to wake up and think about what we're thinking about, right? Or look at things a little bit differently. Fear is it's the exact opposite of love. Somebody said one time, and I don't know who said it, I don't know who makes the rules about how many emotions there really are. I don't even know that. But somebody said there's only two emotions, love and fear. And I will tell you this, even in fear, I feel like even fear is a offshoot of love, because it's the fear of not being loved. It's the fear of not being accepted. Love is still the emotion that we're wanting to feel. So whenever we allow ourselves to walk in fear, we can attract these moments into our life. It's a balance, y'all. You know, remember that everybody's got different strengths and everybody's got different weaknesses, right? We all do. Look, I can get on here and talk to you all day long, but I sure as hell don't know, I sure as heck don't know how to leverage what I'm doing here. You know, I don't know how to leverage it in a business sense, but I can get on here and talk to you all day long. So it's about balance. Honor your strengths. Honor that expression of who you are. And walk forward in it. And understand that there might be other people, there might be even other people smarter than you in your industry or in your genre. And that's okay. You are where you are. And nobody can give the message that you want to give in the way that you can give it. And those other people out there who are in a whole different industry or genre or whatever, don't compare yourself to them, because they're not doing the same thing you're doing. So find the balance in your life. Love yourself. Come from a place of love and acceptance of who you are and what you have to offer. I love this card because you know what? We all have failures in our life. We all fall down. It's not actually a failure unless you just give up completely, period, right? There's going to be some things that we do that don't work out. I think I've told you before, I've had 2 brick and mortar businesses and I had to close both of them, right? I could sit there and grieve for the rest of my life. I did grieve for about 7 months. I came home and I cried for almost 7 full months. So I'm over here pointing this way. We are going to have failures in our life or things that don't work out, but we're not a failure until we just quit. When we just quit and say, that's it, I'm not going anymore, then you can call yourself a failure. But as long as you're willing to get back up and take that cloak off, Take that mourning garment off, M-O-U-R, mourning. Instead of mourning the failures, take that mourning cloak off and cover those things after you've processed them, because we're going to grieve the things that don't work out the way we want them to. So then cover them up and turn around and go after those other 2 cups, because you're going to find your place. You're going to find your niche. If you move forward in love, right? Self-love, being true to who you are. And y'all, that in and of itself is a feat to accomplish. But be diligent about it and be fierce about it, and you're going to find it. And whenever you find it, the fear dissipates. It just goes away. Because whenever you truly, people talk about how a lady said something the other day in one of the comments. She says, I've never in my life seen anybody get on YouTube or social media and just leave it all out there on the mat. And I have to tell you, it's because I don't have any fear. There can be people out there who I've had people when I first started the channel that said, sweetheart, in the comments, sweetheart, you shouldn't get out there and tell your business like that. Our stories are sacred. We should keep that to ourselves. She has fear. I don't have fear. I know that the things that I've been through, I didn't go through for no reason. I didn't go through so that it could just be something that I went through. There's that scripture in the Bible that God, Jesus gave this one guy 2 talents, one guy 3 talents, one guy 1 talent, whatever. And what did you do with it? Not that what happened was talented, but what I learned from it was a gift. So do I just hide it under a bushel and don't ever share it with nobody? No, that's not what I do with it. Why? Because I'm part of a collective of people. And if my stories can help you turn a different direction and avoid that happening in your life, then that's how collectives, that's how families work together, right? That's what I'm supposed to do with that information. I'm not supposed to bury it and just hope and pray that I can keep it safe and it never happens again. That's not how I feel about it anyway. Now, if you have stories like mine and you're not comfortable getting on social media and talking about it, that's okay. That's okay too. But there's something for you to do. There's something out there for you to do that's going to fill you up, that's going to make you feel like you're walking in your purpose. But as long as fear's there, we're debilitated. That is Daily Mail, episode 38. I'm Cheryl. I'm sorry. I love you guys and have a super duper day. Bye.